And then lastly, we come to the step that most people start with, and that is generate some projects for your portfolio. And I put this step on the last step on purpose, and that is because it should be the last thing on your to-do list. I really hope that through these 7 steps that we now seen, that is something that you take from this presentation, that your portfolio is an important part, but it should not be the thing that you have to check mark immediately. I see this with many beginners that they rush into creating case studies as soon as possible without even really knowing why they take the steps they take, without really taking the time to master their craft. And so what happens is that they build a portfolio and it looks shiny. But when you ask them, okay, why did you create a persona? Or why did you have this user flow? Or what was your decision making? Why did you take design A and not design B? Then that's where they get a bit confused because they think, okay, but that's the process that they taught me and I just have to follow this process and that's what I did. But that's not what UX design is about. These processes are there to help you, but not there as a law that you have to follow no matter what. What's way more important is that you learn how to articulate your design decisions, that you can really tell someone, I decided to create a persona because reason X, Y, or I chose this user flow because out of research, I found that this made most sense or whatever. I think it's really important that you feel comfortable using these methods because that will also make your portfolio of much higher quality. And one thing that could really help here, if you're at the start, but you already know, I would love to work in health or in fintech or in automotive or whatever, if you already know the industry that you'd like to work in, then focus the case studies that you're going to create on this industry because that will make it easier for you to find a job. Of course, if you want to work at a fintech and you have a portfolio that has everything but fintech case studies, it's going to be hard for them to really understand what is it that you could bring into the company. So start thinking about that. However, if you have absolutely no clue, that is also totally fine. I also had no clue what kind of industry I wanted to work in. In that case, there are still ways that you can find to stand out in the market. And that is an important part if you want to look for a job, is to find ways to stand out in the market, to make yourself unique. And you can do that by, for example, reinterpreting case studies from boot camps. So if you are attending a boot camp or you're planning on attending a boot camp, then you'll find that many of these boot camps have standard case studies that they give to all the students to practice their skills with. What happens with that is that a lot of people that attended a bootcamp have the exact same portfolio because they did the exact same case study. So what you can do is to reinterpret that. And I already gave you some hints how you can do that. Look at charities, look at local businesses, ask around friends and family what kind of issues they have, and turn that case study into something that's a bit more personal. That also makes it way more easy to talk about it with passion. So make it more personal, but also you can also reach out to peers to do side projects with. For example, if you are very interested in, I don't know, when you use a lot of food delivery apps, perhaps you can find a peer to do a redesign of a food delivery app or to do a competitor analysis on that and really take what already is around you and use that as a learning opportunity. And all of these elements can then make up your portfolio in the end. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Let's just go to a quick little recap. And for that, I'm going to go back to the start. So what did we talk about today? We talked about first step, find out if UX design is the right fit for you. Then think about and practice UX design methods, processes. Then, of course, structure your learning, whether you do that with an online course or on your own, or you go to college, doesn't matter. What matters is that you find something that works for you. Because, and that is step 4, you will have to practice a lot. Practice, practice, practice your methods, your tools, your skills. Learn the tools of the trade, but see them as something that helps you. So don't spend days researching what the best tool is. Take one that just speaks to you, take the one that you know, and try that out. If it doesn't work, try another one. All the design tools are pretty similar, like I said. And then what you can already start doing today, even when you're thinking, but I don't have any plan, I don't have anything yet, you can already start building your network today. Create a LinkedIn account if you don't have one. Start sharing your work, or maybe even just start an Instagram account and post one thing that says, from today on, I'm going to become a UX designer and this is my journey. It's really easy. You don't have to overthink it. And lastly, generate some projects for your portfolio. You already have all the practice because you've done that up front. You have the network because you started with that today. And so when you're going to create your portfolio, you already have a few steps taken. The portfolio will be something that is just an outcome, and this will really kickstart the job hunt and will make it much easier to then later on find a job in UX.